Hello again. We've got a special treat today. We're going to be making 2 stops. We're headed into the old bridge on Broadcove Pond. But we're also going to make a stop at what at one time was a very popular swimming hole that we used to go to. Pence and Steady. Not going to be a long walk today, as I'm feeling a little bit under the weather myself, but I do want to get some fresh air and get on the move. Most of our walk today will be on the road, though it is a bit of a trail going into Pence and Steady, and it's been years since I've been there, so I'm really not sure how much it's grown up since then. I can remember coming in here years ago on the old KH100 Kawasaki motorcycle, as I didn't even have my license back in those days. We used to come in this trail to go for a swim. Over the past 15 or 20 years, they've got a few rocks there to stop people from coming in with motorized vehicles. But it's looking like the trail is pretty good. So today is the 30th of April, 2025. We haven't had any snow in the past few weeks now that has stuck around any more than a day or so. Things are starting to dry up. We did have some rain for the past couple of days, but it's drying up quickly. It's amazing the smells that you get when you're in the woods this time of year. Even with this bit of a cold on the go, still smells so fresh. Okay, I see the hydro lines just ahead here, just passing over. I know they pass directly over Pence and Steady, so we're pretty close now. We're at the top of the hill, sort of all downhill from here. Oh, this has cleared out a lot since I've been in here last. Somebody had a good sized fire on the go here. There's the old swimming hole, Pence and Steady. It's been a few years since I've been down there. Water's high now. Usually there's weeds over on the left side here. Let's go down a little bit further and have a better look. Alright, this little opening here, this is where we used to park our bikes, and wasn't too many with quads or trikes back in those days. A lot of it was paddle bikes and a few dirt bikes. This looks like a new trail going up here, or new to me anyway. It's probably been here 10 or 15 years anyhow. But this is going down to Pence and Steady. Fairly steep hill going down, and it looks just as wet down there now as it used to when we'd go swimming. There were a lot of large rocks around the shoreline, and we'd be on the rocks because it was all water between the rocks. There's a river coming down from Broadcove Pond. It comes into this little steady and then continues down to New Harbor Pond. There's a little bit of wood in among the altlers here. Years ago, right where I'm standing, there used to be a diving platform. We'd probably go up about 6 or 7 steps to get to the top and walk out over the water. Plenty deep for diving in. There was lots of water there. Just shallow off to the right there a little bit. I think pretty much level walking as we head in toward the bridge, though there are a few wet spots that we'll have to work our way around. See in the distance there the Cougar helicopter heading toward the west. I believe they're headed out that way for some search and rescue exercises today. Okay, so we're back to the main road. We're going to head in to the left here now toward the pond. So we're back on Penson's Lane there now, headed into the bridge on Broadcove Pond. You can see overhead there's some high tension hydro wires. That's the same ones that we went under a few minutes ago, even by Penson Steady. The hill just behind Penson Steady, we'll be able to see that from here as we look up the pole line. You can see where the quads follow the pole line, so that's the way they would go in now. The top of that first knob, that's where the trail is that we were just on. Right, so we're coming to our first spot of water here. Looks like we can walk around that no problem. And over on the rocks on the side here. I think we're going to take the rafts on the other side of this one. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Up on a little bit of water here, and I noticed something very interesting. It almost looks like eggs of some kind. If anybody out there can tell me what this is, wondering if it might be frogs or awful lot of it here. Really not sure. I don't recall ever seeing that in here before. Very wet, as if it's been placed here recently. Keep an eye out for some more of it on the way in. See if it's by the other areas of water. And this is the turnaround spot, or parking spot, in by the old bridge. Another little bit of water going that way. There's Broadcove Pond. Back a few videos ago. Actually, it was the first video I did. The pump house boil up. We were up in the other end of this pond. So this is where the main river runs out. Goes under that bridge and downstream to Penson Steady, where we were a few minutes ago. Well, I've had a good look around. Doesn't look like there's any way I'm going to get across that bridge without getting my feet wet today. We just had 2 days of rain that rose the water levels. Little spot to the right over there on the other side of the bridge, where I know there's a few rocks, and that's where I was hoping to sit down and have a boil up this morning. But instead we're going to see if we can find another spot where we can get a little bit closer to the river. Do 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 do. Alright, part way up the trail, there's a little bit of an opening going down this way. So have a look, see what it's like. Maybe a way down to the river. Let's see. Ah, a little bit drier here. Got a feeling it's going to get wet as we get down closer to the river, though. There's not too much of a hill on the side of the river in this area. Wow. You know, I recall passing this area of water many years ago when I was here trouting with my father. It was actually when he had cancer and he was having trouble walking down the side of the river. So we came up this way and walked in here to get to another little gully. There's the gully right there. I don't know if you can see it. So we were just upstream from there. That water runs down to Pinson City. So I was hoping to get into that river because it does have some special memories for me. All right, we'll head back up and see if we can find someplace else for a boil up. Heard a quad there a few minutes ago, or side by side. I think he may have just come across the river and the bridge up there. Sounds like a side by side actually. No, it's an Argo. Argo coming out the trail. We'll see that one go by now in a moment. We'll walk to a spot where there's no water here because we don't want to get splashed as he passes us. How's it going?
Not bad, what you do? I don't know, I don't know what it is.
Oh, that's not good. One of the locals getting a few chunks of wood. He says he got a weird noise in his Argo. Not sure what it is. So the Argo is a 6-wheel, sometimes 8-wheel skid steer machine. They usually have anywhere from a 16 to a 24 horsepower engine, and they're often steered with 2 handles that basically apply the brakes on both sides. They can go anywhere. I had a little 6-wheel Argo on the go myself years ago, and places that thing went, you can't even walk. Or climb in some cases. And they float, so that's a big added benefit. Alright, here's the plan. Tried several places. Couldn't get down to the river with a pair of shoes on without getting our feet wet. So we're going to head back into Pinson City, and that's where we're having our boil up. Basically, with all this water on, we need a place where there's a bit of an incline on the side of the river that's not wet. So back into Pinson City Trail we go. Yeah, it's like I was saying the other day. I'm not much of a singer, can't even hum, but I do make noise when I'm in the woods. Already saw one small bear this year. I was out on Willie's Trail. About a kilometer, I guess, before getting back. It's always making a bit of noise, helps to avoid that type of wildlife. See them in the distance, it's beautiful, but you don't want them up close. Especially the small bears, because usually where there's a small one, there's going to be a bigger one. The mother bear is never far away. We're going to take a little peek down this trail, see if we can see where it goes. May take us to a nice place for boil up. Don't know how well this one's used, but it does look like it's used a little bit. It's basically paralleling the river here now. Oh, a nice area in here. It's amazing how peaceful it can be in the woods. Somebody's been cutting a bit of wood in here. See a few logs over through. Yeah. Oh, there we are. Another bit of wood cut. So peaceful, so peaceful. Oh, the wood smells so fresh too. A little bit of sawdust around like that. Smells fresh. Get this one open up. I'm going to find the spot for the kettle and a little stove. And that'll make this the perfect day. Not that it's not already pretty good. Get my famous little kettle out here. My stove. There we go. Get the fuel can. That'll start to get a little bit down there. I've always got a spare one with me, but this one may not do it after today. We'll see. Get our stove going. Now, where was I when I was talking about the tea bags? I was out on Willie's trail. And what I had said at the time was that years ago when I'd go in the woods with my father, the tea bag would never go in the cup. When in the woods, the tea bag goes in the kettle. It boils with the water. And that's precisely why you get the best cup of tea in the woods. You know, it's quite amazing that you don't see more wildlife when you're in a place like this. Most of the time you can feel quite safe in the woods, as long as you're making a bit of noise. Sounds like that water is starting to boil. There we go. Alright, looks like our water's boiled. So let's turn off that stove. There we go. Get our cup here. Make sure it's nice and level. Ouch! Alright, and we'll pour up our tea. It's well steeped there now where the tea bag was in the water as it was boiling. There we go. Nice. I'll just put that one back there for now. Do. You know, times like this, quiet, nothing around but nature. You're sitting in a place like this. Memories come back from so many years ago. Such vivid memories. I can remember cutting wood to sell. Maybe it was around $30, $40 a load, pickup load. My brother and I would cut in Glover Road. And of course, partway through the day, you'd stop and have a little lunch, much like we're doing now. Usually it was sandwiches and a cold drink. But we'd cut a pickup load of wood in the morning and sometimes another one in the afternoon and sell it for $30 or $40 back then. You can't get a pickup load of wood now less than $200-300. Seems like such a long time ago. I was probably in my late teens at the time. Another time, I remember my father, my two brothers, and myself cutting wood. It was in the winter time, in behind what is now a farm off Argentia Road. That would have been back in the late 70s, probably 78, 79. That was the first time, I think, that I encountered gray jays actually eating bread out of your hand. I remember we were all sitting down in the woods, had the fire going. Everything was covered in snow. We were hauling the wood out with the skidoos. And while we were having our sandwiches, the gray jays came around, and you could feed them right from your hand. Sometimes you need to be in a place like this to entice the echoes of those memories to come back. And then the feeling that you get when they come back, unreal. It's like you're right with all those people again. My father's gone now. My two brothers are still doing well. But it's those echoes from the past that come back and make the tranquility of a place like this that much more special. I'm going to have my cup of tea now, and then we're going to head out. That'll be our hike for the day. To a couple places that we haven't been in a long time. Cheers. Well, that's it for our tea and our snack. Start get ready now and head back out. Remember our little bag. Do 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 do. Ah, well, that cup of tea was something good. A little bit of a sniffle the past few days and a bit of a sore throat. But we don't get a lot of good days like this in this area. When we do get them, I'm getting out, taking advantage of them. Of course, somebody's been cutting a few of the small branches and that around here, and that a few boughs, fresh boughs on the go, and smells some nice. Certainly appears the trail in this way is well used. It's not grown up as I half expected it to be. This was a good morning to get in for a walk and get in the woods a little bit. Too bad it was too wet for us to get in on the bridge and on the other side of the bridge where I was hoping to have the boil up. But it turned out to be perfect morning anyhow. Until next time, you stay safe, and we'll see you later.